Hello and welcome to the Tarka Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're playing the game Meet Your Maker, and today I'm going to go over a few items, two items, something about the burial grounds I'm going to tell you about, and I want to go into the workshop. So we will be going into the workshop shortly, but I want to talk about the burial grounds because when I spoke about them the other day, I talked about capacity. Like I like to make sure that my capacity is high so that I can do big palaces. One of my YouTube subscribers said, well, maybe you should talk about the Genmat and its value, its actual number value, and they had a great point on that. So let's talk about it. In addition to picking the burial ground that matches the advisor that you want to increase in experience, you also want to look at the number, how much Genmat it has, and what this number here is 4,500 for this one. Well, this also has a 2,000 capacity. But for this one I bought yesterday, I had a 4,500 capacity. I was looking at the capacity because I want to be able to build something big. But it also had a value of 6,750 for the actual Genmat that I can have Harvey harvest. That means that when that node goes from beginning to end, it's about 18 hours. So when I prestige it, it will prestige it for another 18 hours. Whereas the 9,000 number will go 24 hours. So if you're thinking about making a grand palace that's very effective and you want it to be up as long as possible during the windows that you can get rewards for it, then getting the Genmat number to be as high as possible is the way to go, because over its duration, it's just going to be up longer because when you prestige, the refresh is more. So the difference is 18 hours versus 24 hours. And if the number is even lower, then it's even less time. So you want to keep that in mind. And again, when you're looking at your burial grounds, whatever advisor you're trying to level, that's what you want to pick here. You want to pick, if you need your hardware guy to get up there, then you pick a burial ground that has a hardware guy. All right, I wanted to talk about that real quick because one of my YouTube subscribers asked me to go over that. He thought it would be an effective information, and it is. I mean, that's what I love about the YouTube comments is everything that I don't know or I'm having struggles with, people can comment saying, you're having some issues with this. Let's watch this Hornet die here. This is the other part. We're in the workshop now. I'm not playing. I'm not in play mode, but let's get into play mode here. It's a little early. I just barely started my coffee this morning. So I'm going to test from the beginning. And this is we're in the workshop. This is what I wanted to show you in the workshop today, how your traps can kill your monsters. And this is something I don't think people know. See that Hornet just died because it flew into these cubes. So when you're pathing your monsters through your base, and if you're having an open base concept, like I like to do open base concepts, and you're putting a lot of these cubes in, you want to make sure that you're not pathing your monsters into the cubes. So I also want to show you here. Also, I want to delete this, delete this, delete this. I want to delete that Hornet. I'm going to put another monster here. I'm going to just grab a enforcer. I'm going to put an enforcer here. I'm going to put an enforcer here. I'm going to put an enforcer here. And I'm just going to grab a trap. And this is going to be true for pretty much any trap that you own. I'm going to put that there. All right. So let's test this. I'm going to test it from where I'm standing. Hopefully these guys don't kill me real quick before I can activate this trap. So I'm going to activate the trap. I'm going to hide behind this wall. Wait for those bombs to go off. See, all the monsters are dead. So, this workshop video is really short. I just wanted to point out to those people who are new to this game that when you're going to add your monsters to the map, or your mobs, or whatever you want to call them, your sinister killing machine things, you're going to need to place them in a place where your traps are not going to kill them. And that's quite important because placement of the mobs are important. Now, when I use my sentinels, I try to let me go back to the build. when I use my sentinels, I try to elevate them. So I'm going to delete this one, delete this one, delete this one. I'm going to put a block here. And then I'm going to put my god here. Confirm. All right. So now, if that trap goes off, the bouncing Betty should not kill him, or yeah, he's alive still, and he's effective. So what I do is when I'm trying to not get them killed by my own traps, I try to keep them isolated on a block. Now the other great thing about isolating them on a block is the fact that they won't pad or move. There basically becomes I don't know if you've ever played the tower defense games, those old style tower defense games, because it ends up just being a tower. If you view it in that sense, it's a tower if you thought about this as a tower with a guy that's just shooting from the top of it, it becomes a tower defense, and he's not going anywhere because there's nowhere for him to path. And yes, he's out there silly and he can be shot, but if you're doing something like, well, I wanted to hit R. If you're doing something like, well, let me just turn this around. Okay. Think if I do that will be better. Okay, so if I did something like this, right? So he's barely able to be shot. And even if I did, well, I don't want to, what is a good, think if I did that would be a good thing. All right. And then if I put this here, right here, okay. And if I hit Y to see its range, all right. So what this is going to do is it should bounce. If I go in here, let's see what it does. I think it's going to bounce a little off this wall. It is just going to be kind of chaotic. And this is just me just trying this. All right. So let's start from the start here so we're not activating anything. So from this location, and some other YouTuber said, Tarkus, you got to hit the space bar longer to go higher instead of double clicking. And you see, they're right. But with me, as I've said in many videos, I have a communication issue from my brain because of a motorcycle accident to my left hand. So sometimes when I tell my thumb to push and hold down, it wants to do that. So that's just me. But it just for the sake of letting you YouTubers know, hold it down longer, you'll jump higher. All right. So that mob should aggro on me. Yeah, he's aggro on me. And he can get that angle on me, but he's protected behind that wall, right? I mean, I'm having trouble. Oh, I got him. All right, let's see how this bouncing Betty guy goes. If I go into... I want to see how these... Yeah, I mean, look at that. The spread out on that is pretty cool. So if you're running the map with a duo pair, and one just triggered, and his duo partner was behind him, you just littered this whole area with things. So let's go back into the build. All right, I'm going to put the add to the bouncing Betties here, chaos bombs. Oh, I don't need this trap here because that's okay. So I'm going to test it from here. All right, so now these things should, okay, it activated. Oh, no, that's this guy up here. Got to shoot him first. All right. Okay, now it's activated. Look at that spread out. Holy tamale. So that was, let's just respawn. So that gives a pretty good area of the map. Now, you could probably... I wonder if I could get away. No, I don't think that would work. I was just thinking about something. But I think this little pairing works well because your monster's hidden behind this little slit here. And he still can see line of sight. So you get a smaller window to hit them. And if your packing this room full of sentinels with this kind of blockage. So if you did on this other side of them, same kind of thing, or you did it over here, or even if even if putting one, let me just go into the build phase here. So even putting one right there, if you did that, and what I would probably do here is use my cannoneer, because those guys are pretty. I like these guys. I think they're pretty sweet. They, especially if you increase their firing rate. That's what makes them devastating. With the increased firing rate mod, they're just brutal. Especially if you pack a couple in a room. So we're gonna go in. We're gonna we see him. We're gonna shoot him. I mean, he's gonna get it off. I mean, it's just the AOE part of it. I mean, it's just crazy sick. And maybe that's not the best placement for him. Right there where people could just peek around the corner and hit him. But you can see how quickly with that mod he's throwing those out. I mean, it's kind of insane how quickly he throws those with that mod. That's quite insane, especially if you got to deal with other things that might be on the map. But really, that's what the video was about today, folks. Was just talking about the burial ground number and talking about don't place your traps in a point where they're going to wipe out your monsters. All right. Well, thank you for joining me. This has been the Tarkus Zone.